All right, what's up, guys? Richie is back after 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since my Hawaii trip, and yeah, last week I was just getting sorted, getting things all sorted out again, coming back home, and now getting the ball rolling again. So yeah, taking it slow. And this week, last month wasn't really great for me. It wasn't really a good month. In August, I only was up 16, well, just under $17,000. Um, that's probably, I guess, the lowest month um I've had in 2021, but that's fine. I was more focused on, I guess, taking a break in August, not so much, going for profits or trading much. I've already done really good in July. Um, Also, prior months, June and May, but August was more of a, laid back. Plus, last year I noted to myself August was slow. So I took it slow and, August was kind of boring. Yes, there were some runners out there. Yes, I could have capitalized, a lot. I could have made a lot of money, but that wasn't my main focus in August. So now coming to September, from my vacation, getting the ball rolling again. Um, so yeah, taking it slow, building my account, you know, because just building that momentum again. Before August, I had about $1 million account trading with, and yes, I could have definitely made a ton more using, continuing to build that $1 million account to 2 million to 3 million, but before I, go too fast, I don't want to go too fast. I like to take, good steps up and slow it down a little bit, get used to it. Because if I go in too quick and then there's a, possibility I might not get a grasp, I might go way too fast and not know where I'm at next, So, I was like, okay, well, I've done it, in the past, like with smaller money. So, before I had $100,000 account, I had the $10,000 account. When I built it to 100K, I stepped back and said, okay, let me do that again. To be sure that I can do it again and know that I can be consistent. So I'll do it a second time and then eventually a third time, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go to the next step, and then continuing to build my account. So then, from 100,000 next to quarter million, and then quarter million to a half a million, and then now I built it to a million. I'm like, okay, let me step back. Started with only about 100, 150K, and now just slowly building that up again. So that's just my way of trading. I don't like to go too fast. I like to just take things slow, and just really, really go through the process. I have plenty of time. Um, there's no need, no rush to make millions and millions more. Um, Even though I could do that, I like I like the slow process. So I like going to million, building it up, then rebuild that momentum again and again consistently. So um, enough of that. Let's go over this week and what I traded. So um, on after Labor Day on Tuesday, we saw Ader. Let me go to the daily here. Actually, let me show you guys this 60-minute chart. So you guys can see it's been trending up, making higher lows right here. There's kind of like a mini flag right here. Just a mini flag, right? You see this? And I played it during this day. It seemed like it wasn't quite ready. It went to 8, but it went all the way back down and just kind of held and rode this 9 EMA on the 1 hour. And let me show you guys the daily chart. So right here, we see this daily nice move up, pulls back, and see some sideways consolidation. And when we see sideways consolidation, the main thing we want to look for is higher lows. So after it made this drop, came back up, this is the first low, then it came back down again, and it had a nice green day right here. So this will be the second low. So this low is higher than this low right here. So we want to see higher lows. We want to see um, this nice upward trend. And right here, this day, this is the day I played it, but it wasn't ready. So it's still, closed green. And right here, this day, it actually really broke out. Broke out of this near $8 and continued to break out higher. So this is what we're looking for: these flags, these this tight range, after consolidation, and these higher lows. I'll show you guys another example like this. I believe it was NAOV, right? Look at this, guys. Very similar here. Nice strong push, pulls a large pull back, and we see sideways consolidation. Now in this case, this took a little bit longer, but still relatively same concept, right? Going sideways, steadily making high lows right here. And it continues to ride this 8 EMA right here. And then eventually breaks out right here, over 270s, then to $3, and continues to ride this out. Usually, after you buy these breakouts or somewhere get around in the middle of it, um, you'll be risking, like, for example, if you got in at 250s right here, um, you'll be risking, let's see, that day. Let me go to the 1 hour real quick. Okay, well, no, Trade Zero doesn't show. Okay, that sucks. But whatever the opening range of breakout on this day right here was, because I wanted to show you guys the 1 hour during this time, but Trade Zero doesn't let me go back. So Trade Zero, if you're listening, please have more data. Anyway, and usually after you buy these breakouts, after a couple days or a few days, you would, sell some, sell half, scale out, and then just ride the rest, risking actually just riding the rest on this 9 EMA on well 10 EMA on the SMA on the daily. And once it closes under it, that's when you should stop out. So this day would be the day you would be stopping out. NLB was kind of not the clearest and not the strongest type of pushes. But this is just another case of a, similar to Ader. Ader's is a bit more clear than NAOV. So that's one of my swing strategies I've started to implement into my trading recently. Also, guys, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to type it in the chat room. So while I'm talking, I'll just glance it real quick in the chat and I answer, questions here and there. All right. So enough of this swing pattern. Next on Wednesday, IPHA. So this was a play similar, playing off of FCUV. FCUV was a runner that ran from the low sixes, from 6 to all the way to in the mid 20s in a single day, which is crazy. It ran, I think, it went almost 200%, I believe. Um, but yeah, that was FCUV right there. Let me show you guys. And the main thing, like when you guys see a daily chart, right? But the main thing that stood out to me was the intraday chart on FCUV. So if we go back before the move, it had a big spike in the pre-market and steadily just, lose all its momentum, just kind of grinds all the way back down, back to where it started. See, this first spike was, around $6 and went straight to 13. It went all the way back to 6, maybe just under that. And then we started the massive move. IPHA right here, same exact thing, right? From 4 to 12. Went all the way back down. I played this a little bit too early on IPHA. I had entries in the low fives. I should have waited until it went right back to where it's like had a spike in the pre-market, so which was around $4. And $4 was a good, just under $4 was a good loading zone. So actually, I had some ads over here too, right before close. It had a slight push in the pre-market, but the main thing was that um, when this closed, IPHA closed on this day at, uh, I would say around 410, just under 420s. So let's just say 420s, right? So I'm going to label this, I'm going to make this line. So this is the close right here, this red line on this day's close. Had a nice, steady grind. And then came right back down. And the main thing is I wanted to see IPHA hold above these 420s, the 420s from yesterday's close, which is the new support. And my game plan was I'm going to be stopping out if IPHA closed under 420s. In this case, it never closed under it, so it grinded back up. It made new intraday highs right here over 450s. And this is where I started to add right here under 450s, 440s. Um, and yeah, I think I had the last ads right here on this high day break at 465. And I literally just rode this thing. It had a flag, and she just continued to grind up, grind up. And I told myself, okay, well now she's way above 420s, and IPHA seems to be trending up higher, and that's what I was looking for. FCUV was doing something similar too. It had consolidation after a push, and then just started to really gain momentum after breakout. So right here broke out, and I didn't sell. I didn't want to sell any until the first halt. So, but yeah, most of my sells were in the high sevens, just under $8. Yes, I could have held, but um, I was holding this thing. My game plan was to sell into after halt, and it definitely did halt twice this day. And yeah, now if you were to hold this thing the entire time, I would risk if it closed under um, this this 20 EMA on the 1 minute. Or let's see, let me see the 5 minute. Sometimes you can also use the 5 minute on the larger time frame. So right here, as you guys can see, halt pulls back towards the 5 minute 9 EMA. So that'll be your risk, your guide. And if IPHA closed under, like if I had a candle that closed under the 5 EMA, 5 minute 9 EMA, which was at this point, that would indicate weakness. Now, it doesn't totally mean that it's going to go all the way back down, but that could be a slight indication that it's weak, it's getting weak. As you guys right here on the 5 minute right here, almost every time it was riding and closed above, right back above the 5 minute EMA. So right here, it closed first time it closed under it, so that'll be your stop out. Yeah, you could have sold some up here, but the ultimate stop would be right here around this range. And in this case, it really started looking weak over here. Now it closed above below it, and it couldn't get back above. So yeah, around in the low sevens would be your last stop. And if she does come right back up, it could be back in trend. But in this case, IPHA closed and stayed below these EMAs, which indicates weakness. Let's see. Do you load dips and sell the rips, or do you scalp the moves? I mostly load the dips, and then I sell the rips. And it depends on each dips. Like on IPHA, there are like I would say some phases. So this is this is the stealth phase, right? This is the stealth phase. I was loading in the stealth phase. I guess you could call this dips right here, but this is the stealth phase I call it. Where traders aren't really looking at it. I mean, they are looking at it, but they don't really see anything, right? They just see a constant downtrend. So this is the stealth phase. I started loading during the stealth phase. And then when people start getting attention, this is where people start actually, okay, yeah, this thing is gaining some momentum. Also, you guys see this IPHA actually traded around here. This was another resistance level, which is around in the mid 540, 550s. So it was consolidating just under that, and once it broke over that, this thing was clear to go much higher. So this was the people started loading, and this is I guess the euphoria phase. So stealth, then this is the attention phase, people getting attention, and then this is the euphoria the phase. So euphoria phase where people start scalping, chasing, um, and yeah, this is where I sold. Usually my big trades are coming from the stealth phase, loading in the stealth phase, and then selling in the euphoria phase. And then this is the I don't know how to call it, but I guess uh, I had a picture. Let's see. Let me look for it real quick. Tell you guys. Um. Okay. So yeah, right here, stealth phase, smart money. Then right here is some people, this is awareness phase, so people are aware that this thing's ramping back up. And then uh the public. So the public starts really getting into this, and there's attention, there's enthusiasm, there's greed up here, and people think, oh, and up here at 890, they think, oh my gosh, this is paradise. This thing is going to the moon. But then it starts dipping and bounces, and then people start getting into denial. This is a bull trap. And then when it starts going down, this is a fear. And once it goes all the way back down there, then there are in despair. So there are four phases to this: stealth phase, awareness phase, which was around here. So from here to here is awareness, where we get some attention. Then this is the mania phase, the first big push, mania, and then the fourth phase is the blow off phase, which um, is the last phase. Blow off, despair, denial, so fear on this end phase. So there are four phases. So um, every trader should know, and this is mostly based off playing off of emotions and psychology of other traders. So you know when I was first in this loading into the stealth phase, people weren't really looking at it, right? Until then it started pushing up here. Then I noticed some other traders were like, oh, IPHA going back up. Some other big name traders that I know were like, oh, I see IPHA now. you know it's getting more attention, right? So this is where attention starts seeking, and then the public, not the entire public, can see this and says, oh, okay, it's finally going up, you know and then the last phase, so which is fear, greed, despair, and the last phase. So yeah, that's how I love the dips sometimes, and that's where my biggest winners come from. And I usually don't scalp. Do you take the trade because the daily chart's good? Well, the daily chart is one thing, right? But I also look at previous plays that that ran. Like look at IPHA, right? If you look at IPHA daily, I mean there's not much history, right? But people saw this really big red day, right? It looks terrible. Some To most people, this daily chart will look terrible, and they will never, in a day's year, will touch this. Now, once it starts setting up and coming right back up, then people start getting attention to it. But on this first red day, it looks so bad, right? So if you're just asking about daily chart, no, this would not look good. But I was looking at this on a 30-minute, 1 hour time frame, and it looked amazing compared to FCUV, which was a play similar, well, IPHA similar intraday chart to FCUV at that time. It was the only IPHA was the only stock that had a very similar intraday chart to FCUV. I didn't really care about the daily. The daily, as long as the daily has at least no history and has very little history, just like FCUV, I'm okay. Even though it closed relatively weak on the first day, I'm fine with that. I'm more focused on the intraday chart. So yeah, I have multiple things. I'm looking at multiple things, not just at the daily chart. That if I was just looking at the daily chart, basing off my trades just based off of the daily chart, that's not enough for me. I need more things. I need to see the intraday. I need to see how previous runners ran and how I can compare them. And IPH at that time was the only one that matched FCUV. Okay, I'm going to start going over my Thursday. So BLUW was um, a former runner. Well, actually, this had a really huge sell-off. It looked like it had a merger with another company. So BLUW, same exact thing, concept as IPHA and FCUV, but in this case BLUW and uh, what was that name? It was BLUW and EFTR. So if you guys see this, EFTR had a major sell-off. On Trade Zero, it looks a little different. On Webull, it showed that it had a sell-off from 30s, but on Trade Zero, it says this at 20s. Whatever, same thing. Um, it's a large sell-off, and then you know a push closes around where around mid-level, and then second day comes right back up. For some reason, my EMAs are not showing on this, but on Webull it shows it. Trade Zero is kind of new to charting, I guess. But the general idea is the similar dailies in this case. And I guess similar intraday as well. If you look at EFTR, it had a first major push, came right back down, and then came right back up. You see this in the first cup and handle. You see this cup right here, a really large cup forming right here. And look at the dailies. How this pushed, it had a nice, a large wick, upper wick on this, and then came right back up. Those are the 2 points that I've traded BLEW. So BLEW in this case, a large sell-off, push up, nice upper wick, and let's go to the next name. Actually, and right here, push up, intraday, comes right back down, and then comes back up. So and I was buying these dips right here on BLEW, just under $9. I had bought more on this 880 dip right here, and they just kind of held the entire thing. Also, the new ticker was CRXT. Unfortunately, it didn't held up as I wanted it to. The new because yesterday's close was 980, which was support. In this case, it was opening just at or just above support, just above it. And I was using this pre-market low of 950 as my stop. In this case, it had a nice, well, it had a quick flush in weak close on this 1 minute, 5 minute candle, and once it went below that, I had to stop out. So yeah, I was holding just a little bit more right here, just to see if it could actually come right back up, but it did not. So I had to sell also just the rest of my small position, just over $9. And good thing I had sold because this thing went below my entry, which was at around 9. So yeah, I could have made a ton if this thesis worked, but in this case, I guess the new ticker change, I guess, messed things up, or it was not much follow through. So yeah, this one didn't work out, but at the same thing, same process. Looking at previous runners and just comparing it and just seeing what other runner that looks similar to the big runner, which was EFTR. So that was my only focus on Thursday and Friday. Um Let's see. When you load the dips, do you average down or up? I usually average down. If I'm averaging up, I'm not averaging up like when the stock is up, 30, 50%. I at that time I should be completely done loading. I'll be loading stocks or entering stocks that are not overextended and that have a lot of potential. So I mostly enter stocks when they're pretty cheap and sell them when they gain momentum. I what did I trade on Friday? Friday we had some runners. I think EEIQ. So EEIQ, I had some scalps in this thing. Actually, this day EEIQ had a nice daily, right? It had room to $8, and also in the high 70s, which it went straight to 770. So there was a resistance. Now, tomorrow, next week, we might see EIQ. If it gets over 8, this thing could go to 10 and see double digits. So I'll be keeping this name on watch. And it had a nice move this day, but it could have some continuation. So we have to see on that. But yeah, I played EIQ right here. When you say when I add the dips or low dips or average down, let me go to the 1 minute just to show you guys. So on EIQ, um I had entered. This was a trade I'm going to explain on EIQ on Friday. So right here, I had entered around just um under 690, and I added the rest or more at $7. And I didn't want to buy anything up higher. I didn't want to average up because you know I I'm not in full position yet, but I was waiting for another dip potentially. So yeah, my max averaging up was $7. I'm not adding anything over $7 because I could be subject, as you guys can see right here. It breaks out, but then comes back down, breaks out, comes back down. So $7 is my maximum. I don't want to risk buying up here and then comes back down and going all through that, uh, going through that mess. In my ideal entry was 680. So that'll be my, I guess, my mental stop. If it closed under, like, if it closed 670s, I'll be out. But it held 680s. So added, this would be a good dip to add right here. Um, Came right back up. And and there's some scalpers out there, they like to buy these the 9 EMA on the 1 minute. They will just buy like right at this dip right here and sell up here. Buy it up on this dip again and then sell it up here. Or sometimes they use the 20 EMA too. Um, but yeah, and like I said, when I entered right here in the 690s, I was looking for a higher low. I always look for higher lows right here. See this low, first low came up. I see this nice lower wick. So that's an indication that there's some buying right here. So this will be counts as the second higher low. This one right here wasn't really clear because it had no lower wick, and it's kind of unclear of this dip. So I wanted to wait for a lower wick on this, so to indicate buying. So there was some buying up here, so I bought right here. Um, and yeah. So before I buy or get an enter, I always wait for confirmation of strength and buying and higher lows. That's the main thing how I start entering into these positions. And yeah, that was my week so far. Um, let's see how much I made this week. Let's see. If you guys, oh, something's wrong with my trade zero. Hey, yeah, no problem. As long as you guys can take something away from my teaching, you don't, you guys don't have to, follow exactly my, thought process or strategy. What matters is that, you guys, learn something and just kind of apply to your own thought process. I am a beast to buy trader. Yeah, I guess you could say that. On IPHA, I actually was down quite a bit because I guess you could call it a form of bag holding, but it wasn't necessarily bag holding as long as I had a plan and a certain risk level. If I have certain risk, following, if I have like a set risk and reward, and yes, I bought up here, but I bought more down here. So, and I was down like about almost six figures, almost like I was maybe max at one point 100K, but I was still following my plan. So you know what, I still continue to follow through the plan, and I did it properly. I wasn't emotional saying, "Oh my gosh, down 100K. Oh crap, what am I gonna do?" I had a process, and like I said, this red line it closed at 420s, and that was a level that was a level of interest of support that I wanted to see a hold. And if it closed under that, I'm out, and I'll lose 80 to 100K. But I still followed my plan, and eventually I made 150K on this trade. So yes, risk reward, I was down 100K. I had pretty bad entries, but I still follow my thesis, and yeah. So for this week, I'm up. If I could see. Okay, for some reason, okay, I have to do manual calculations. So on Tuesday, I actually only made $628. So 628 plus 12,248 on Wednesday plus 16,876 on Thursday plus 20,766 on Friday. So just over 70, not 70, sorry, just over 50K. Write that down in my books. Um, and also on last week, on the first week of September, let's see how much I made. 39,593. Actually, not 539 plus. Actually, yeah, plus 122. 590. Okay, minus 72,624. So that week, first week, 89,000. So seeing some good numbers, right from my Hawaii trip, not bad. Taking it slow. Like I said, I don't know if you guys can see this, but right here, my account sitting just under, sitting under in the high 200s, just under 300k. I started with 100k after $1 million. Well, I had $1 million, then I toned it back down to 100k, and now it's at 300. Just slowly building it back up. Last week I made 89k, so that's almost double than 50k this week. So I'm making high percentage gains on my account, little by little, step by step. I'm not looking for huge home runs. Um, as much as I'm kind of a in between home run and I guess trader, I guess, but I just play what's strong and what's in play and where's the momentum's at. So yeah. And you guys can do the same thing with small accounts. I'm also implementing swing trading more to scale up my trading once my account hits over $1 million. Let's see, where did you learn this strategy from? I've developed these strategies by myself over time. So I learned this strategy by me, from Richie himself. How long have you been trading? I've been trading for about 3 years. How long have you been trading? But yeah, I've been trading about 3 years. The first, I guess, couple years wasn't so great. I was kind of break even, not finding out. My portfolio was just flatline. Um, but on the third year, and now coming to my second year, and it just keeps going up steadily, little by little. And honestly, I'm kind of trading pretty conservatively. I'm kind of conservative. You know, I'm not going. I'm not pushing on the gas pedal when I need to lift off the gas pedal. I will lift off. Just like when I had built my account to over $1 million, I had taken most of the money out and do it again. So I'm pretty conservative. Yeah, I can continue to trade with that $1 million and learn how to size with it properly. But I want to give myself good room, good space, and just not rush things. Hey Richie, hope you're doing well. Thanks for the stream. Yeah, no problem. 7 months. 7 months. So almost you're going for that 1 year. So that's great. And trading's, what you go through from experienced or not experienced trader. Almost every trader goes through the same things. They have big losses, they have big winners, but the main thing is, are you consistent? That's the main difference between a good trader and a bad trader. Without consistency, you won't. It's gonna be very hard to find success. Yes, you might know some people that made huge bets and made millions, tens of millions of dollars, but that's just on one single trade. So, and betting is not really a career. Uh, but I take my job seriously. I don't make huge options bets and lose my life savings or some really bad trading and bad betting. Consistency is what differs from a good and bad trader. Hey Richie, so you're primarily trading open range breakouts. Yes, I started implementing that little by little as setups. As setups continue to you know present itself. These opening range breakouts and swings usually take about a week and every other week to form. So as long as I continue to see these setups more and more often, then I'll be more confident. Right now, I'm not so confident, but um, as I see these setups over and over again, then I will start implementing more and going bigger on these trades. So it's also emotionally taxing. I want stress-free trading the rest of your life. Well, I don't think I don't think any trader will have a stress-free trading. It also applies to this stress everywhere. Um, in your job, within your family, stress is going to be there with you your whole life. Um, so I don't really believe in stress-free trading, but you can definitely like decrease your stress. You don't have to have so much stress depending on your trading. But for me, investing, I have a long-term portfolio. I think that's really more stress-free than my trading. But I love being under pressure, especially in trading. I love being under pressure. So, and that's what keeps me going. Do you invest money outside of trading? Yeah, I have some money tied to long-term investments. Um, I'm getting into real estate, but that's kind of another niche. I would have to put more time and money into it, which I'm kind of like I don't think it's worth it. I think I should just continue doing what I'm good at and just you know keep improving. If I put my time and money into real estate, I won't really be focused on stocks, and doing two things at the same time isn't really great. So I'm just focused on trading and being good at trading and continue to improve and scale up. And then all those earnings will go into potentially long term and maybe real estate in the future, but not now. What percentage of what percentage you account what percentage of you account do you risk? Sometimes I go all in, sometimes I scale in. It depends on the strategy and what I'm looking for. So if the stock is not extended, I'll go in heavier. If the stock is more higher and it's getting a little bit extended, I'll go with less risk. So my risk could be um, all over the place. It depends on where I'm trading it at. Higher the stock, lower the risk, lower the percentage. Lower the stock, higher percentage, I'll put more risk. Because if a stock is up 10%, the most I'll lose most likely is 10%, basically low of day, or wherever the stock traded uh, traded at the lows. Now, if I traded stock at 50%, that's up 50%. The most I'll lose is what 50%, which is a lot. So I'll go in with less size, with less a percentage of my account. So sometimes 100%, and the higher the stock, lower the percentage. All right, guys. Gonna end the stream here. I hope you guys learned something. Um, and it's great to be back from my trip from Hawaii. And yeah, I want to start implementing new strategies and going to share it with you guys in my journey with my journey trading. So, oh yeah, Nep, for my top three setups, I have a website. You can look at it. I made a blog on my top three setups. So take a look at that. Just go to www or www.ninjatrading.com. I'll send you that link for you guys in the chat. So right here, just go there, go to the menus tab, and just go to blogs. You'll see a couple blogs over there that I posted, so you guys can see my top strategies that made me millions, um, and going over potential setups. I haven't done doing blogs yet, but I need to do that more. But anyway, yeah, that's what I made the website for you guys to see, and yeah. All right, guys, thank you for coming on, and yeah, see you guys next week. You too, guys. Have a great weekend.